In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Red?
Gone are the days of Pods and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot. Hello, and welcome to the show, everyone. I get hyped by my own theme song every time. I think I did a good job with it.
It's a good theme song.
Thanks. So, welcome to the show, Best Gen. The show is called the Best Gen because we're all from the same gen, and we happen to think that it's the best. But we're very accepting of all people. It doesn't matter when you were born. Just as long you're welcome to join our show, just as long as you can acknowledge that that Bop It is the true test of a man's resolve. So
heck yeah. You know, watching this intro for the umpteenth time, I realized I have no idea what slurp juice is.
Slurp juice.
I had to look that up just now.
It's Fortnite.
Yeah. I gotcha.
It gives you a shield in Fortnite.
Yep.
So
I thought it was Slurm.
No, slurp juice. There was a song about it.
I thought slurp juice was something like Slurm, which is basically Mountain
I don't know what that is.
Year 3000. Yeah.
Yeah, I played Fortnite all of one time. Dropped into my first match and immediately annihilated everybody, and was the winner. And then the next match, I was annihilated time and time again. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm done with this.
Yeah. Well, this is the show Best Gen. We're nerdy and we complain about nerdy things. Today's episode, we are talking about specifically Moon Knight episode 2 and Raised by Wolves season 1 episode 7.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of embarrassing. I believe we call ourselves the best generation, but we are technically all millennials.
You called us that. This is your show.
Yeah. Millennials get a lot of flack. Okay, we're on the tail end of them though, right?
Yeah.
We're barely millennials, so we're kind of right in between Gen Z and no, Gen X and millennials. I feel
before the millennials,
yeah. I feel like I don't have a home. You know, I feel generationally homeless. But the 90s were dope, yo. You guys how are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Oh, I am just okay.
You know, that's okay, Tanner. It's okay to be just okay sometimes.
I helped my buddy chaperone a field trip.
Yeah.
A week-long field trip, and it was
Whoa.
out in Seattle.
And it was a week long.
Yes. So I was doing stuff all day, every day. walking a whole ton. And the worst part was the 15-hour bus rides there and back.
Wow, is this
So
like some senior trip or something?
it was a STEM field trip in
Ah,
Seattle, and we went to like the Boeing factories and a bunch of different engineering stuff.
What age were the kids though? 'Cause
They were,
that is a big factor.
I think they were mostly juniors and seniors, so they were pretty self-sufficient. But just
Mixed genders.
yes, yeah.
So
But the thing was, they were all STEM students, so only two. of them-
so you didn't have to worry about it. Okay,
yeah,
that
only
makes sense.
two of them really knew what sex was, so we didn't have to worry about it. Yeah, but just because it was impossible to sleep on the bus, I'm like, whoa, I'm out of it. So you guys might have to help me a little bit.
No, I've made the drive to Portland several times, and once to Seattle. It's 15 hours. It's not fun.
yep.
So if you join us in the chat, we see our dedicated viewer Jacob. We feel free to send us your messages and questions. We'll try and answer those as we go. Do you guys want to talk about Moon Knight?
Let's do that.
Let's talk about Moon Knight. We got a lot to cover today. It's just going to be us, our other regulars, Corwin. Well, Corwin comes as he pleases, but Jared's not going to be joining us today because he's busy with his girlfriend. So lame. Whipped. Yeah, let's talk about Moon Knight episode 2. How do you guys feel?
I'll let you go first, Tanner.
I think it's holding up. My expectations from episode 1 are continued to be met, and I want to attribute that to the good characters. I think they're all kind of pulling their weight, and especially Oscar Isaac, but it's not like I don't know. It's not like you're kind of shallower depictions of some MCU characters and other television series that we've seen. So I enjoyed it, and I have some more detailed thoughts on it that we probably can get into.
Yeah.
About the same here. I enjoyed it. I think parts of it I liked less than the first episode.
Uh-huh.
I had a couple things I didn't like, but then there were some parts that were just fantastic and just blew the first episode out of the water. So I'm kind of I don't know if I liked it more or less, but it's pretty good.
I have mixed feelings on this episode. What Tanner said is very true. I think the characters definitely hold up, and the acting is good. Ethan Hawke and Moon Knight,
Oscar Isaac.
They have good screen presence, and they're playing their parts well. And I liked that we didn't just immediately drop the whole memory loss stuff from episode 1, which is obviously unsustainable, right? Like we can't keep going like that for the whole show.
Like just following Steven, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Of just cutting to when he's conscious. But I like that there was still a little bit of that there, but it's slowly, fading away, and we actually get to see what's happening, because otherwise we wouldn't see any of the superhero bits, right?
Yeah.
But yes, I'm enjoying it. What I didn't like about this episode is something that I've never really had a word for, but I'm going to call storyographing.
Okay.
Which is like the choreography of the story. And it's kind of nitpicky. Storyography, that's a better way of saying it. It's kind of nitpicky, but it's something that's always really bugged me in movies when I feel like characters are making weird decisions that don't make sense.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up.
Like, and it's not a huge issue, but it's also like a problem that could be easily solved if you just took a little bit more time to plot out the story beats and made them fit together better. Because they had stuff that they wanted to do, and I get why they did what they did, but it made the story feel clunky. Especially, I'm particularly referring to when Moon Knight goes to the bad guy compound, and they kind of they basically just let him leave.
Yeah.
The bad guy sends a monster after him, and then doesn't follow up. But he was right there too, right? And they have this fight scene just outside in the street of where the compound was, and they can get away afterwards. And it's shown that it's right there because the girl afterwards sees the bad guy picking up the scarab that they dropped. But he, like, I don't know. Just
Yes.
little things like that just bother me, where I'm like, this could be a lot tighter, and I feel like the bad guy letting the good guy get away on purpose is a big trope already. And so they just like avoided that here by just forgetting that the bad guy was there.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that I think could be a lot tighter that bother me.
Another issue that I had along those same lines is when Layla showed up. She just kind of shows up, gets on the motorcycle, and I thought that the dialogue there was a little bit clunky, and some of the dialogue choices didn't quite make sense. It kind of, which was weird because the first episode we lauded for, showing, not telling.
Yeah.
And I felt that there was a lot of telling in this episode, which not all of it was bad. I loved the exposition.
They answered
the dialogue
a lot of
between him and the villain. That scene was great.
They answered a lot of the questions that we had from the last episode, which I appreciated.
Yes. But I felt like a lot of the dialogue between him and Layla was kind of weird. Like he was on the motorcycle and she's like, "Hey, you can't just do this to me. I'm your wife." That's not something that people say.
Yeah,
he would know.
That goes back to
Mark
the
would know that she's his
that goes
wife,
back to
right?
the bad improv scene vibe.
Exactly. As you all know, I'm your wife.
Hello, my fellow friend of 15 years who we've known, as we both know.
Yeah, and I feel like they could have fixed that by having some sort of conversation or whatever, and he sees her ring or something, and he's like, oh, so he knows that she's married. And then when he hands her the divorce papers, she's like, what are these, divorce papers? Wait, what? We're married?
Yeah.
You're married to me? That would work.
That would have been a better way of.
But it was just, and it was just a couple things like that. It was just the dialogue was a little bit clunky, and I think your point that you brought up was another great one. It was just not as well ironed out, but parts of it were really, really good. As well, you brought up that fight scene. I think that fight scene itself was when Steven got the Moon Knight suit or whatever. Mm-hmm. First of all, I like the look of that suit. That's kind of cool. But I don't know, that fight scene with Steven's Moon Knight persona was a little bit, a little bit too tongue in cheek, lighthearted, goofy fight.
Especially because he just fell out of a building where the girl is still at, probably getting killed by the jackal because he left her alone. But he spends 5 minutes talking to himself.
Right. Yeah. He's just like, I don't know. He's just a little bit goofy.
Layla makes horrible plans.
Yeah.
What was her plan there? She just walked in. I've got the thing you
want.
Exactly. Come
Exactly.
kill me.
Yeah.
I don't understand why she was even there at all.
Yeah. I mean, she could have just shown up and said, "Hey, I know where it is," or something, but
she could have been spying on him and gets captured, and then has leverage for the bad guy would have. But that's like a damsel in distress trope. We can't do that anymore, I guess. But it just made her look stupid. She just walks up. But also the bad guy's plan was bad too. Still fun though.
I don't think
and
the bad guy's plan was all that bad. He wants to talk to him and try
I
to
guess
be his friend.
I guess he gets what he wants out of it, but like you got to follow up, bro.
Yeah, that bit was ridiculous.
He got lucky. He got real lucky.
He sent another jackal creature after him, which he knows that the
He's
first
already
one
killed
was
the first.
no
He already
problem.
killed the first one with these, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so he just doesn't. Yeah,
It's just a bit
You're right.
confusing. I wish it was tighter.
got a whole mob of cultist followers, and he just sends one little jackal monster out.
I still have questions about the mechanics of how the split personality happened, because how would a guy with multiple personalities get married, which is why I'm thinking more and more that there was originally only one personality and getting the powers shattered him.
Maybe
because it just doesn't make sense that he would be married and have this whole other life. I think Steven's life makes sense without context. That could exist in a bubble,
right?
But Mark's life, there's no way that his wife wouldn't have known about this, or that I don't know. So I think that Steven is the original person, and that this multiple personalities is a new thing.
Most likely, yeah. But I did like that line where the villain Arthur was talking to him, and he said, "Hey, did Khonshu choose you because your mind was easily broken, or because it was already broken?" So that's kind of what we're speculating here.
Yeah, but I can't. I'm struggling to find a way that it would make sense if he was already broken. And I don't know.
I guess it could make sense in some way, but
I like that they brought it up.
The marriage could be a new thing. He didn't have to be married before Khonshu.
Yeah, but it clearly happened in a different location, which wouldn't make sense for Steven's character, who has a steady job.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
He's constantly late to the steady job. So.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which would make him not have a job.
True.
So it sounds like Steven had a life,
late.
And then fractured. Mark had a life, got fractured, and Steven just recently set up his life here in Egyptish.
Gotcha. So you think Mark is the original,
and now Steven's character is slowly coming back into the foreground. Sorry, Mark's character.
So you think Mark is the original?
Yes,
that would make sense.
And there is Jacob kind of pointed this out in the chat,
in the comics. Oh yeah, and there was also the line from the.
But
show.
Also, Khonshu says to
when I found you, you'd be dead.
And you think this life belongs to you? No.
And another thing too.
So then is Mark's character like in someone else's body? But then that wouldn't make sense if his wife still recognizes him in Steven's body. So I don't know.
I
think Mark's the original and Steven is the result of.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Another piece of evidence that points to that is when they get to Steven's apartment, and she's showing everything around, and she says, "Oh, this is you like this author or whatever? Yeah, that's my favorite author." Like, no, that's my favorite author. So that was like maybe a piece of his
personality he
consciousness.
created
that from
his wife.
what he. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Jacob, which one is it? First, you're saying that Steven is dead, and now you're saying that Mark is dead.
Mark Spector is his alter ego in the comics.
So. Okay, so Mark was and that's what they said in the show, that Mark was dying when Khonshu. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was still fun though. It was, and I like they have a different version of the suit for the different personalities. I
thought that was a cool, clever touch. And like I said, I really liked the dialogue between Steven and the villain Arthur.
Yes,
I like that whole conversation, and he's trying to win him over to his side and saying, "Hey, look, we're trying to make a better world where these people that do evil aren't in it." And he's like, "Yeah, but what about kids? because I draw the line at killing kids. You know.
Yeah, no,
That was great.
The dialogue was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steven
So-
immediately began to poke holes in it,
And I did.
which makes me think I don't think that the bad guy's being honest. I think he's intentionally. That's his
Oh,
story.
yeah,
but
definitely.
I think he knows that's not what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
I liked when the tonal shift. I thought the scene was set up really good as they walk into the community and they pan to all the people doing stuff, and he's like, "Oh, there's that guy," and oh, see, we're all good and everything. And then when he's like, "Okay, I want the scarab," they all stand up and surround him. Like,
Yeah. And it's very subtle because like you're just having the conversation, and then all of a sudden there's like a guy standing up just watching him, and then as the conversation, there's more and more people just like surrounding him. Yeah,
it was well done. And I also I'd like to sing the praises of, and this might be just a smart budgetary move, but the fact that only Mark could see the jackal. In your typical scene, you would have a comedic bit where you just see him getting beat up by nothing. But then he would be fighting the monster the whole time. I liked that most of the fight was the monster was invisible. And like that's cool choreography.
Yeah, I was expecting them to do exactly what you said, to just have a couple shots where he wasn't there and then show the fight, but it was the like 90% of the fight was invisible. Yeah.
And I think it makes for more creative filmmaking. And again, that could just be, hey, we got to save some of the CGI budget, so we're not gonna put the monsters in as much. But
it works.
It's smart and it's creative filmmaking. So
and it shows, you know, he's fighting out in the open where there's lots of spectators, and so it's like this is what they see. This guy is just crazy. He's just spazzing in the streets, you know, having seizures.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was cool.
I watched Eternals too
recently.
Week. Yeah,
I still haven't seen that one.
I
just saw Black Widow recently.
It was better than what I was hearing.
Yeah,
but
I enjoyed the first half, and then did not like the second half.
I was playing things on my phone towards the end of it. So, but kind of what I was thinking, David, where there's that justification of the monster's invisible, so he just seems like a weird, crazy dude. In Eternals, there's a lot of things that can't go unnoticed. But then in other Marvel projects are not brought up. And I think this self-contained story and that fact that the Londoners just think he's crazy.
Well, also this is the most recent, I think, in the timeline, so they don't have to worry about that as much. But yeah, Eternals glosses over a lot of things.
Yeah, like
I'm pretty sure this would have been recorded in history.
Yeah. So like I think the smaller contained stories is where Marvel does its best stuff.
Agreed. I think
I mean, like,
well, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has always been more interesting than world-ending, Thanos.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I've loved all of these Marvel Spider-Man movies, but my one issue is he's Avengers Spider-Man. He's not the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And I'm so glad how they ended it with this one. Yeah, they can fix it because he's not tied to the Avengers.
But they're going to do Sinister Six, or is that Sony's plan? Is that going to
be that was Sony's plan? But Sony's plan looks like it might be falling apart.
Do not go see Morbius, everyone watching. We need to tell Sony that they got to stop this.
You guys want to see a good beam? We're gonna jump ahead to the best of the B. CDC recommends isolating yourself from all other human beings by going to see more.
That's good. That's good.
That is
Yeah, this Babylon B site comes up with some pretty funny headlines, I think.
They are hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jacob pointed something out there.
About
Steven
yes.
not liking Ethan Hawke because they kill. I think he was just a bit more. He was just a bit smarter and self-confident with his character when he was like, "I don't want to kill kids." Like he was pointing things out, but he's scared of the split personality and of Mark. Like he doesn't know what's going on.
You know, it's possible he doesn't
He's-
like any killing.
Yeah, he clearly doesn't like any killing, but I think he was just a bit more forceful with these people where he felt he was in a situation where he wasn't in danger.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think
That
that's
shortly changed.
necessarily a contradiction. So I did have one other small issue with this.
Yeah.
With just technicality of how things were pulled off visually. I didn't like all of the reflections shots that they've done. I think it made sense in the first episode. They did it really well. Everything was actually mirrored, and then there were shots where Steven would move and the reflection stayed, or in the bathroom, they were basically mirrored. The reflections were an actual mirror, and then Mark moved out of where the reflection should be, and continued to talk to each other, which was fine. But I felt like they did that way too much in this episode, and it didn't look like it was a reflection. It was just there was someone stuck in this glass or this mirror, and it wasn't even close to where Steven was. It didn't look like it could have been an actual reflection. And it's just a technical thing, but there was a little bit of disconnect in my mind where it's like that doesn't look right. It's not. I don't know.
I think it looks better when they match the reflections a bit more.
Yeah.
But I think the point that they're trying to make is that the personalities are now
becoming more aware of each
they're
other.
distinct and they're more aware of each other.
Yeah.
Because the final shot of this shot of this episode where they go to Egypt, I want to say thank you to Oscar Isaac. But he is I assume Mark is sitting on the floor getting drunk, and then the reflection we see is Steven like sitting on the bed with like a towel over his head, like two totally different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I definitely agree. It was a lot cooler in
when it was more subtle
cinema, but now they're kind of using it for characterization to move the story.
And I thought that was fine. It's just the shots where there was both Steven and Mark in the reflections together, but the mirror actually wouldn't have been reflecting Steven in real life.
Okay.
That one was fine because it showed him on the bed and then it panned over and he was down on the floor, but I don't know. It's just something in my mind. It just, when I see that, it's like, that's not a mirror. That's not a reflection. And it happened a lot in this episode. And like I said, it's just a little technical thing, but it drew me out of it in a lot of the scenes. I was like, that it just doesn't look right,
Yeah. Well, they're definitely, and they justified it with the dialogue saying like, oh, it's easier to hold on when you're in the back seat when there are reflections,
right?
So that's definitely what they're doing. But I understand it. It didn't look as good as it did
and then but then Tanner, what you said about them being more self-aware of each other, that makes sense too in the end, because in the past when Mark took over, Steven was not aware of the other personalities, and so he wasn't bothered in any of the reflections or whatever. But then now he's become aware of it. And when Mark takes over, he's stuck in the mirror. Steven's stuck in the mirror, and you see him because he's now aware of the other personalities there. Which, so that was cool.
So,
yeah.
Oh yes, and Jacob mentions in the comics, Steven is basically a Bruce Wayne. He's a millionaire and philanthropist, rich guy. And in the show, he's a bumbling idiot, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, I like it. Again,
I don't know the comic books well.
Yeah,
but I think it's an interesting take. And And maybe he'll have a different personality where he's a suave guy. But that's kind of Steven's thing, too. He's good with the ladies.
Yeah, so that was my final question. Do you guys think there's a third
Oh, yeah.
personality?
For sure there's going to be a third one.
Yeah. I think
They've
Yeah.
teased it enough online that it's just inevitable.
have they? I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
Speculation or whatever.
interviews where are there going to be more personality?
Oh, like
Of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
of course, there's going to be.
Yeah, I think they're for sure, and I think if one thing I keep coming back to is the security guard at the place. He's always calling him Scotty, right? And so maybe Scotty is the third personality. I think that'd be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, just a thought.
It's a good theory. I like it.
That is not a bad theory.
Yeah.
Is Marvel smart enough to foreshadow that?
I don't know. Why would he be calling him Scotty? It's just a random name. You know, he always corrects him.
Yeah. Okay.
It's always the same thing. He doesn't call him different names. He doesn't mispronounce his name. He's always calling him Scotty.
Yeah,
He says,
you might
no,
be
it's
right.
Steven. I think the third personality is Scotty.
And so you've got the nerd guy and you've got the soldier, and what's the third personality going to be?
He could be a tech
Vulcan.
Vulcan. Beam me up, Scotty. No, I don't know. He could be a tech savvy guy, or or maybe he could be the evil personality. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried the show's going to culminate in like a sky beam or something, because they're trying to raise Amit from the dead, and like we mentioned earlier, the show feels like it's going to turn into a big world-ending thing, and I like it more when it's more personal. But
yeah, we shall have to see. One thing is for sure, though, they're not. There's no filler in the second episode, at least with 6 episodes. I hope they're all jam packed with action and dialogue, and there's no filler episode where nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
So we're only 2 episodes in, but so far.
So
good.
Layla's character, she's obviously like an archaeologist that also knows how to like Taekwondo, I guess. What's her deal?
I think it was established that they were both mercenaries.
Okay.
And that they were both looking for this the tomb. And then when Mark found the little scarab, that's what it's called.
Right.
Then
but
he was like, "Oh, this is too dangerous and I have to protect her." And
yeah, I presume he left her behind to protect her. But if she's also like a soldier and very capable, then why?
I think it was the supernatural Egyptian god stuff getting involved.
Okay.
That particularly, he was like, no, because
And I guess he said he's made a deal too. That could have been part of the deal. Like you have to leave her.
And it is said that Kenshu wants her as the next avatar.
Yeah, I think he was just saying that to scare him, though.
Yeah.
Well, they've also said several times that the deal that he made with Kenshu was that Steven's character wouldn't get in the way, and that keeps confusing me as to how the logistics of this actually work out, because that kind of contradicts my theory that Steven didn't exist before.
You're right.
But also, it doesn't make sense if Steven did exist in my brain before. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting to explore. As you were talking, though, Tanner, that reminded me of another thing that points to a third personality, because Mark is married, right? And yeah, they're separated because he's trying to protect her. But would Mark ask this girl on a date from the? From the thing. So who asked her on a date? It's got to be a third personality.
I see what you mean. Yes, you are so smart. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm curious. So four more episodes to mess it up. Right?
Yeah. I'm hoping.
I've
hoping they don't screw it up.
I've just been burned so many times. I just
Yeah.
know the shoes. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop.
I think,
But I hope it doesn't. I hope it
I'm
stays good.
hoping the finale is not Skybeam or giant monsters, because that seems to be what Marvel's doing in their
Everything?
movies in this phase. Because in Shang-Chi, it was, oh, a giant monster's going to escape and destroy the world. And then in the Eternals,
It's an even gianter monster that's
yeah,
going to escape.
and so it's like, I think I'm hoping it'll be something like The Mummy, where it's some kind of ritual happening in a tomb, and it won't be like, it'll just like, the result of the ritual would be, all this scary stuff will happen, and Ethan Hawke can change the world the way he wants to. But it'll be, we're gonna try and stop it in the tomb before any bad stuff can happen. So
Interesting. Yeah.
that's what that's where I would take it.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. I'm hopeful that they're not going to screw this up, because it's been good so far. But the other thing is, all the other shows have been about characters that we already know. This is a brand new character to the MCU, and it's a completely different tone. It's a little bit darker than all the previous things. So I'm hoping, just based on that, there's a new character that's currently not connected in any way to previous characters that we're gonna that's gonna stay good. We shall see.
You're technically incorrect there, David, because Loki was about female Loki, not Loki.
But Loki was in the show. Wanda and Vision were both previous characters. Falcon and the Winter Soldier were both previous characters. What was the other one? Is there a third one or fourth one?
What If was
Hawkeye. Hawkeye wasn't a show, but it was a. Or was it a show?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't remember if it was a show or a movie.
Hawkeye wasn't about Hawkeye. It was about.
Right. But again, it had Hawkeye in it. So far, we haven't been introduced to anybody, in the MCU, and maybe we'll get a cameo in the end or something that ties it. But so far,
the potentials for connection and expansion. Sorry, David, I kind of cut you off at the end there.
I'm done.
My bad.
So far, it's its own thing. Done.
Again, watching Eternals, the post-credits teaser there was very much that, a tease, and I think Moon Knight could fit in with what they are setting up with that. With Jon Snow and
interesting,
and Mahershala Ali.
I'll have to go watch Eternals now. I haven't watched that one.
Yeah, Eternals. I thought had an interesting setup. It's actually similar to something that I was writing myself, like world building wise, but the ending just felt so just uninspired. The thing that bothered me the most about Eternals, and we'll try and get it out without spoiling anything, is Camille Nanjiani's character, Tanner. Was entertaining, and his sidekick, I liked them in the film, and then his choice at the end of the movie to just peace out does not make sense to me.
Yeah,
because his character, out of all of the other characters, would have the most reason to not do that, and then his assistant doesn't even try and convince him, and he's just like, okay, I've accepted this, and you're like, what? Wouldn't you be like, hey, maybe don't leave, I would like to live, at least have a scene where he's trying to talk him out of it, right? But he's just like, okay. What?
I'll say this about Eternals, I think it suffered from too many villain itis as well. And
did you have more heroes in that than Then Avengers.
Oh, yeah, there were more heroes than villains, but they also didn't know which villain they actually wanted to be the villain.
Yeah, and so that was I think they should have gone all in on one of them. And it just I think with so many quote unquote leads, they didn't know what to do. And I think that's why Kumali Nanjiani's character was just like, and instead of like, it might have been a scheduling conflict.
It could have been. It's
Like,
just
it was
like,
like,
out
I
of
can't-
all of the characters, his made the least sense.
yeah,
Uh,
like it felt like the actors who might have had less going on in their schedule were the ones present for the end. Because even like Angelina Jolie,
she's basically pulled out of the finale,
she's like,
and she has a separate finale.
Yeah,
that's why they had that other villain too.
Yeah,
because
so
he had no impact on like.
I think they had lots of reshoots for Eternal, so maybe they had to reshoot the entire last sequence, and those actors weren't available. So
yeah, and like who else? Penelope Cruz. She was mostly in flashbacks, and so it's like,
It was I don't know. It was just so bland. I don't think it deserves like I don't think it's the most offensive thing ever. I don't think the MCU needed a sex scene either. Like my kids are never going to watch that movie.
There's a sex scene in it.
Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't watch it with my kids. We sat down and we're either going to watch Eternals or Black Widow. We decided to watch Black Widow.
Yeah, it's akin to probably less intense than the Raised by Wolves sex scene, but you don't see nudity, but it's there, right. And you're like, okay, sure,
yeah,
and just unsanitary too.
Yeah,
and also, I mean,
like in the dirt.
Yeah, and also like again, spoilers, but like, why is that necessary?
Yeah.
Or maybe that was a lie. I don't know. But anyways, it was okay. I liked the visuals of how their powers worked. I thought it was cool, but
it looked nice. It was way too long and didn't have a lot going for it. So that was the Eternals and Moon Knight.
Nutshell, yeah.
And Moon Knight. You guys want to do some Screen Rants Bad Takes?
Let's do it.
My favorite segment, everybody. We're going to do some Screen Rants Bad Takes.
Screen Rants Bad Takes.
Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens says she has the ability to talk to ghosts.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. I don't really want to talk about this because it's stupid. Here's another Screen Rants Bad Take.
Oh, I saw this one.
Jurassic World Dominion's new dinosaur is like the Joker. Granted, I guess this one's not Screen Rant's fault, right? This is just the director of Jurassic World Dominion saying something
kind of the same thing
incredibly
with Vanessa
stupid.
Hudgens.
Yeah, okay. All right. The first two, not on Screen Rant. That's on Vanessa Hudgens and
Colin Trevorrow.
Colin Trevorrow. I don't know which.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie's gonna be good, guys.
Why? How can a dinosaur be like the Joker?
Because it's temperamental. It likes chaos. So it's the same dinosaur from the first two Jurassic World movies, but it kills for sport, kind of, for fun. I think that's his reason.
So I could imagine that he was maybe in an interview and being like, it's about blah, 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 blah. kind of like the Joker. Blah, blah, blah. And now Screen Rant is like,
I
"Oh,
want
it's a Joker dinosaur. It's the Joker, baby."
Bite someone's head off and then laugh maniacally.
you want to know how I got these arms. So Trevorrow wanted something that felt like the Joker
Okay, that's
in a dinosaur movie. It just wants to watch the world burn.
yeah, that's bad.
But dinosaurs don't know how to make fire.
No.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
It's also funny because Screen Rant also had an article which I forgot to pull up because I didn't realize it connected. But I saw it this week, and it said that the new Jurassic World movie has the potential to redeem the T-Rex as the main character because he's been sideshowed by the new T-Rex character.
Indominus Rex and the
Yeah.
Indoraptor or whatever.
But I mean, if he wants to commit to it and does the Joker makeup halfway through the movie, this could be the Joker of Jurassic World movies, right? This is just the prequel, the precursor to, the tortured psyche of dinosaur guy. He's just trying to make a living, make people laugh, but the world just is too cruel to him, and he can't handle it. So he goes psycho. That's a bad take. We got plenty more. I got so many. I got not as many as last week. It was actually a good week. Most of the things that popped up. So I get even more articles on my phone now because I keep clicking on them.
Naturally.
And a lot of them were actually okay because they were just news. But anytime they express an opinion, man, like this one, why a Friday the 13th reboot should leave out the main character.
The main villain, yeah.
So just like a regular horror movie then.
But it happens on Friday the 13th, so...
Oh, yeah, okay. Just make a horror movie if you don't want to have...
What's their argument?
Yeah.
Do they, like...
Okay. There was already a reboot a few years ago.
Which I heard was really good.
And that's different from the Halloween. I don't watch a lot of horror movies.
Okay. Oh, that's right. It was the Halloween reboot that was.
There was a Friday the 13th reboot, but I guess that was more like
it's been rebooted a lot of times.
Okay.
Do they want his mom to come back?
Okay, for the protracted battle over the because there's a franchise rights thing, right? Oh, that's their argument is that no one owns Jason, so just make a Friday the 13th movie without Jason. Just make a horror movie.
Yeah.
If you want, just make something original.
Jordan Peele did it.
Why a Jason-centric Friday the 13th movie won't work? Because the one that they already rebooted centered on Jason killing off a couple teens. I don't even know what they're. Wait, the slasher revival deserves a new Friday the 13th movie. This just makes no sense.
This is just bad writing.
Yeah.
Then don't make it a Friday the 13th movie. I don't understand. Yes, the original Friday the 13th was Jason-less because it was his mom. But Jason was still in the story. He was a dead kid.
Yeah.
This is stupid. Yeah. It's a bad take. Anytime they express an opinion, man, it's just the worst. Stick to news. Screen Rant. Here's another one.
Well, then they do have their news segments like the Wheel of Time is not coming out in April. That's news. Still a bad take.
That's not Screen Rant though. That's CBR,
right?
Here's a good one. The House of the Dragon hints at a perfect Game of Thrones retcon. Oh, you mean like retconning the last 3 seasons? That'd be great. Moving on. 10 great movies that Reddit users think everyone has forgotten about. This article is literally just pulling up a Reddit thread and turning it into a news article.
You get people on Reddit sometimes being like, hey, BuzzFeed, glad to see you're asking more questions so that we can make your article for you.
Yeah, this is literally just, hey, I saw a Reddit thread and I'm turning it into a news article.
I imagine
this
that
is
was
like cross Reddit. If you go into it, this is according to one post.
Oh my gosh.
They literally just took his post and turned it into a news article. Also, It's dumb. You guys want to see what movies are think everyone's forgotten about? The first one, Napoleon Dynamite. I just yesterday saw a physical in real life Napoleon Dynamite meme. When I went to the caucus as delegate elect, and I cast my vote. Everyone had, there was a big vote for Pedro poster because it was at a school.
Yeah, I just
no
went to
one's
go see
forgotten
a
about
high school
Napoleon
play, and it's still the same exact Napoleon Dynamite memes, just like you said.
Yeah. This is Napoleon Dynamite is like the high school movie, right? It's like the coming of age high school movie now. No one's forgotten about it. So Moulin Rouge, okay, that's fair.
Sure,
that's fair. No one cares. The Sixth Sense,
hands down, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's best film ever made,
and probably the movie most famous for plot twists. Like if there's a top 10 plot twists, this one is on it. Yeah. This is 10.
And also, it's like the line "I see dead people." I mean, it's like
no one's forgotten about the sixth. People who now hate Shyamalan movies, and for good reason, have to admit that The Sixth Sense was a good movie. Here's another one: King's Speech. I haven't forgotten about it. It was a good movie. I watched it on a bus in Mexico because it's still relevant. I don't think people forgot about it, but I mean, maybe some people did. It was a cool movie. But the next one is Chronicles of Narnia, which I think it's pretty popular.
Yeah, I think you could have put all the Chronicles of Narnia sequels on there, but not Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe.
Not the first one.
Nobody cares about Prince Caspian or the voyage of the Prince Caspian ship or whatever it's called.
It's Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Yeah, that
Voyage
one.
Of the Dawn Treader.
Yeah, nobody cares about those ones because those ones sucked.
Lion
the Witch in the Wardrobe.
Also,
was good.
This was a good movie. This was this was kind of a perfect adaptation.
Yeah,
like right below the Lord of the Rings movies. Really good movie. I don't think anyone's forgotten about it. 3 Men and a Baby. Okay, sure. I guess people forgot about that 80s movie. That's fair. Sure. I don't know why people need to remember it though.
Look at they've already written another article about 3 Men and a Baby and other 9 forgotten 80s gems.
This one's fair. I just don't. It's odd that it needs to be brought up though. It's like everyone forgot about this amazing movie. I'm sure it's good. I'm a big fan of Jason Sudeikis. That's not his name.
No, that's not Jason Sudeikis. Jason Sudeikis is much younger than that man.
No, I'm struggling. I know his name. I'm just forgetting it.
Tom Selleck?
Selleck. I knew it was an S. Yeah. Juno, I guess. Sure. Twister. I haven't forgotten about Twister. That was like my favorite movie as a kid. So shut up. This movie holds up too. It's also Brandon Sanderson's favorite movie.
And also, even if people don't refer to the movie all that much, that's another one that is still the cow going through the tornado. That meme has been done so many times in other films, even today.
The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I think it could be forgotten.
It's still pretty popular.
Kids still talk about Hunger Games and Avatar, which we haven't forgotten about because the sequel has been in the news for the last 10 years. So,
and everyone talks about how it's overrated. It's not that good, but it was.
Everyone still remembers it.
Yeah.
So this is that's been a Reddit thread, the news article.
Yay!
We write news, everybody. It's
Good
bad
content.
Here's another one. Lord of the Rings: 5 changes from the books that helped the movies, and 5 that hurt them. This was actually not a bad article, except that it contradicts itself in the article. Right? Changing some of the dialogue. The movies pull 50% of the dialogue straight from the books, which is why it's awesome. Cutting out some of the lore, yeah, okay, cut for time. I don't think it hurt the movies though.
There's a lot of extra stuff in the Lord of the Rings that does not need to be there.
Telling the story concurrently, that definitely helped the movies. But it worked. It worked for the books. It couldn't do that in the movies. Here's where it contradicts itself. Toning down the violence. Have you guys read The Lord of the Rings?
Not all of it. I've read half of
audiobook, yes.
Okay. Well, this is what they say. The Lord of the Rings is a PG-13 and has very PG-13 action. Yes, there's a few instances of outright gore, like an orc head on a spike, or them eating each other, or cannibalism. But for the most part, the violence is bloodless and tame. Yeah, it's bloodless, but it's very violent. The books aren't. There's hardly any violence in the books. And that's something that Peter Jackson is on record saying, like, look, when we were doing an adaptation, I needed to be able to do the things that I do well. Peter Jackson has a horror background. And Lord of the Rings was his first, like, non-horror movie. They turned up the violence for the movies. The Battle of Helm's Deep is like 5 pages in the book, and it's like half of the movie.
Yeah.
So this is just wrong, and it's immediately contradicted. So it hurt the movie that they toned down the book's violence, which is just wrong, and it helped the movie that they got to the action. The next book, they get to the action quicker. That's fair. The first book starts really slow.
Yep.
Then it also hurt the movie by turning it into a blockbuster with more violence.
Yep.
I don't know. And the rest of the article is okay, but like it's just such lazy. In the explanation, they say they made it more violent, and then they say they made it less violent. People are stupid. Cutting Tom Bombadil was a good choice, though. Changing Faramir did hurt the story. He's way better in the books. I like him in the movies, though.
But they fixed him again in the extended versions. He's a lot better in the extended versions.
Yeah, no, I always liked him in the movies, but reading The Two Towers, Faramir is even better. Screen Rat stupid. Here's another bad take. The MCU just retconned its magic rules for the second time in Phase 4 because of Moon Knight.
It's a different magic.
No, so what they do, the article explains that all the different kinds of magic have different colors. And so... Right. Because in WandaVision, Agatha Harkness's power was purple, and that's for bad bad witch magic. But Arthur Harrow's magic is also purple, and that's not the same as witch magic, so you just broke the rules, guys.
So the Power Stone is witch magic too?
Right? Also, here's another example. Purple magic bad. Because Agatha's magic was purple, Arthur's magic is purple, and the bad guy in Doctor Strange, when he goes to Dormammu magic, it's also purple.
Yeah. It's consistent with their previous magic.
It's stupid.
I think if you got an artist in here, they could probably talk about color theory and why purple is the color that was chosen, just because of how humans react psychologically to certain colors and what we associate culturally with them. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't think color is a rule. I think color is a filmmaking technique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Also-
they've
also-
gone on record saying that they chose purple specifically to be the evil magic
Yes.
color. It's not just specific to witchcraft magic.
But apparently the first time they broke their own rules was when they retconned how Wanda's magic works, because it was originally given to her through the Power Stone, and now it's like chaos magic or something like that. But it's stupid. It's a bad take. They're just trying to make something out of nothing, and I hate Screen Rant. So once again, they're trying to just completely defame Christopher Nolan for some reason. The Batman perfectly reversed Nolan's dark right screenwriting tricks, because the Batman uses the rule show don't tell, and Nolan was a big dum-dum who didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, I can't think of any instances where it was overtly tell not show in
Yeah, no,
Nolan's Batman.
sure, there are moments in the Batman and that we talked about where it does show don't tell well, with Batman's detective skills, right? Seeing the print
Right.
on the floor, and it does it wordlessly really well. But the Batman is so much better than stupid Nolan's movies because it didn't need to have the big long. Where is it? It didn't need to use lengthy exposition to tell their stories. It didn't need big, long monologues. The Batman opens with like a 5-minute monologue
Yeah.
of the Batman talking about Gotham City.
with
So-
Nirvana in the
So
background.
go to hell. I like the Batman, but you don't need to tear down Christopher Nolan to say that the Batman is a good movie.
Yeah.
They're like,
Monologues are okay.
but why are they so dead set? Because this is like the third article we've seen where they're trying to like just punch out Christopher Nolan.
Is it
I don't
is
know.
it by the same person? Like, are all the articles written by the same person? Because it could be.
Batman
That's a
has the
good
best
question.
script yet. That's a good question. This one doesn't say who the author. Oh no, it does. I will look that up. I'm not going to close this one, and I'll look it up after the show. But I don't want to just sit here and Google stuff on air.
Yeah,
I'll go back and I'll try and find the ones that we saw earlier.
I think
But
it's to get those clicks.
Yep. That's all
yeah,
it's for.
I guess people would be offended, but you're
Oh,
trying to
people
take down
really
Nolan.
like Christopher Nolan's Batman, so they think it's so good. Well, I'm gonna say that the Batman is better. And
The
you
Batman was good, sure.
Yeah.
Like, but you don't have to say that Nolan's Batman movies were bad to like the Batman. You can like both. It's okay.
Exactly.
You can like the Beatles and the Beach Boys, guys. That's a dated reference, by the way.
No, I get
You,
I get it because
yeah,
that
you
was the
yeah. You couldn't be a fan of both back in the day. They were warring fandoms. I'm clever. I know things. So that's the Screen Rant. Terrible take. Here's another one. The Marvel continues Phase 4's Black Widow insult in Moon Knight by doing the superhero landing that they made fun of in Black Widow movie, which Deadpool made fun of 10 years ago. So, nope, but it's Black Widow that did it first. Everybody, they basically just pulled that joke from Deadpool. So that's a bad take. Stupid. Moving on. Here's a real good one. Why is Cortana so tall in the Halo TV show? And it's okay, guys. Here's why that doesn't break canon. Because everything else in the show breaks Halo canon, but Cortana being tall, that doesn't. Don't worry about it, guys.
Don't worry. An AI that doesn't have any physical dimensions whatsoever doesn't break canon.
It's okay that she's tall. That doesn't break canon. Just everything else does.
Is the answer to the question because the visual effects director is really into tall women? Because that's why I would make her.
Because he played the new.
He played the Resident Evil
game, and I don't think. First off, the people who are complaining that the show is breaking canon don't care about Cortana's length. They care about her face looking stupid and completely different from the games. So maybe write an article about that.
I think.
Did you guys know, though, in episode 3, you get naked Master Chief?
I haven't seen any of it.
You get Master Chief butt cheek, baby!
Master's cheeks.
Master's cheeks.
All right. I think they got to just stop adapting video games into movies and stuff.
It's free audience conversion.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that doesn't make sense because
don't like it.
None of the people who like Halo are watching the show.
Yep.
I like the Uncharted movie. I didn't watch it, so I can't speak to how good it was, but based on the trailers, it just seemed uninteresting. And I loved the Uncharted game.
You talk about Uncharted all the time.
I love, I loved it. Great, fantastic storytelling, good characters, and fun games. And someone else said this. I don't know who it was. Another YouTuber I watched. But these games are getting super cinematic, and a lot of detail is going into the story.
Basically, just like watching a movie with some with some quick time events.
Like Red Dead Redemption was basically a really cool cowboy movie, but I got to shoot some guys every once in a while. I don't think we need I was thinking man, a Red Dead Redemption movie would be cool, but I was like, they did good enough in the video game that they don't need to tell that story in another medium.
Yeah.
So,
which is why they're not telling that story.
Yeah.
Which is why make an Uncharted movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't see that one either. I haven't. Yeah, I've been watching people complain about Halo online, so because I never played the stories because I never owned the games. It was only multiplayer at parties,
Yep.
So the next story we got is actually really interesting, and I'm just curious. So this article, the 5 most successful shared universes and 5 that have returned to the drawing board. This was a Screen Rant article, which I screenshotted on my phone, same picture. And when I went to go look it up today, didn't exist. Same author, too. Same author. I guess maybe he got
first.
No, it's the same date. And it's not a new article. It's a year old.
Huh.
But when I found it, it popped up on my phone last week, and now it's no longer a Screen Rant article. I don't know if like this author got fired or something, but judging by the quality of his articles, that's understandable. But judging by the quality of Screen Rant's articles, I don't get it, man.
But also, Star Wars isn't a shared universe. It's just one universe.
That's my point.
It's not separate stories that are interconnected.
Yeah. What's the definition of a shared universe to you guys?
To me, it's separate stories that are by themselves, but then they're actually connected to another separate story.
It's separate franchises.
Yeah. Well,
that share the same universe, right? It's not just
I could say that.
A bunch of sequels.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I brought this article up, because I'm like, none of these are shared universes. The only shared universes that exist are the MCU, and I guess the DC has two shared universes. It's got the movie universe and the TV show universe. Probably. Oh, yeah. And the Dark Universe, but that never actually really existed because they never connected the two times they tried to make that a thing. And
they connected at the very end credit scene of the Mummy back to the Dracula one.
Sure.
But yeah, it's two movies. It doesn't.
But count. I guess technically the kaiju universe is a thing. A Godzilla, King Kong, because those are two different. King Kong's a franchise, Godzilla's a franchise, and then they did a movie together. That's a shared universe. But like half of these, and none of these pictures work anymore. I don't know why, but because it was just pulled from Screen Rant and so.
What's the magical world? Oh,
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
the Harry Potter movies is a shared. It's a shared universe because it's on this list. But back to the drawing board because the Fantastic Beasts aren't good. I guess. Sure, I agree with that. The Arrowverse, that's the DC TV one. That's DC Light, right?
Right.
And then the movie DC universe, which they haven't figured out yet, and then the MonsterVerse. How many? I guess they've done 3 Godzilla ones and 1 King Kong, and then one with both of them together.
I think it was 2 Godzillas.
There was Godzilla King of Monsters, Godzilla King Kong. Okay, and then Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
So it's still in its infancy.
Even in the old Godzilla and King Kong movies, they've crossed over multiple times. In the past as well.
So then the Dark Universe, which never was actually a thing, but Star Wars is not a shared universe. Game of Thrones is not a shared, but it has a prequel now that makes it a shared universe.
It's so stupid.
The Fast and the Furious.
That's just a franchise.
Sequels.
That's one franchise.
Okay, but there is a spin-off, Hobbs and Shaw. With just but it's the same characters from the original show. It's not a shared universe.
Spin-off is not a shared universe.
Okay. And then the Middle Earth is a shared universe because Amazon's making a TV show now.
Again, not a shared universe. It's the same universe.
Well, if they're willing to admit that the prequels are a completely different franchise and have nothing to do with the Lord of the Rings, then sure, I'd agree with that.
Okay.
And then the MCU, sure.
MCU. So one example of a modern shared universe that not everybody talks about is something like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine and New Girl.
There you go. That's an actual shared universe.
And then they had a crossover episodes where the other characters popped up in the other one, and you're like, hey, these are in the same universe. That's a shared universe.
They've done Simpsons and Family Guy crossovers too,
and Simpsons and Futurama.
Oh, I didn't know they did that, but that makes sense.
They had
of course they would have done that.
I think the Futurama people go back to the past, and
That's how I would set it up. That would make the most sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah. I mean, there's other examples that you can draw from if you want to do that, or if you,
You know
even
what
want to
else?
bridge video games. The Witcher has lots of Easter eggs. They have like Doctor Who in The Witcher.
so
I didn't know about that.
There's a shared universe. Yeah, they have Weeping Angels, and I think Red Dead
You-
Redemption too. There's a TARDIS in one of the scenes or whatever.
Do you
I
know
guess
what
that's
else?
more of an Easter egg though. That's not really
Yeah.
a shared universe.
Do you know what else you could draw from though, David? Articles you've already written.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. These are
It's
five.
the same.
These are 5 failed attempts at cinematic universes, and these are 5 successful.
Yeah, and 5 that
They just
haven't been
swapped. They
successful.
just swapped what was in
Wow.
brackets.
Wow. Is it the same author?
No. It's
Ben
not.
Sherlock.
It's not.
No.
This had a much longer name. George Christopher something.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty bad.
it's basically the same list.
It's the
Fast
same
and the
thing.
Furious,
Oh my god.
The
it's
Dark
exact same
Universe.
list.
the Lego Movie.
Okay.
that's a
Sure,
shared
sure.
universe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was it failed though? Like they made a lot of money off of the Lego movies.
Well,
Was it a?
Yeah.
was it a-
I wouldn't
was it
say
a
that
failure?
failed. They had 2 Lego movies and the Lego Batman movie.
They're arguing
and,
that
and there was the Ninjago,
yeah.
which was more for the kids, but
They're arguing that the second Lego movie was disappointing, a financial
Okay,
disappointment.
I don't think
I'm
I don't
pretty
think
sure
it did as well, but it was still
I'm-
successful.
I'm pretty sure it made money. The Transformers, not a shared universe, just a bunch of sequels.
and
Yeah, that's a new one
prequels.
from the article though.
And
And
Ghostbusters,
That's a
shared
completely
uni-
different
shared
continuity.
universe.
That's not a shared universe. There's no crossovers there.
Oh no, but they retconned the female reboot, so now it is kind of a different franchise.
But it's not. There's no crossover.
Bill Murray was in it.
They're not Ghostbusters though. They're just cameos. It's not the same universe.
Maybe it's a multiverse.
Maybe so.
Dan Aykroyd cameoed as his Ghostbusters character in Casper the Friendly Ghost.
That's true. That's true.
That's
In
a
the
shared
first
universe
one?
right there.
I don't remember that at all. In
Yeah.
which Casper movie? The first number 1?
The live
Yeah, number
action
1.
Casper movie.
Yeah, I know, but there was a sequel to that.
No,
I
it was
assume
the
it was
first
the
one.
first one. Maybe it was the second. I don't know. I've just been watching.
I don't
honest,
remember that at all.
I've been
That's
watching
awesome.
honest trailers a lot, and I watched the one on Ghostbusters. And
I don't know. I don't think he was dressed up in his Ghostbusters uniform, but he just like exits the mansion. He's like, "No, I can't do that" or whatever.
Okay.
the
okay.
joke is, you should
I-
call someone else.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. It was pretty
Interesting.
hilarious. But yeah, no, the Ghostbusters reboot is not a shared universe because it's completely separate and there's no crossovers. And if it was in the same universe, then it's not a shared universe because it's just the same story. It's the same franchise.
Jacob, what do you mean by the Rock movie? Do you mean like the
I
Rock,
think he's
the
referring
prison
to
movie, or the one with Dwayne in it?
I
Dwayne
think
The
there was
Rock
a theory
Johnson?
that Sean Connery, his character in The Rock was
Yeah.
was James Bond, but disgraced.
Or
Yeah.
he could be talking about James Bond as a franchise. That's a shared universe with the other James Bond iterations.
That's
But
that's like saying that the Jack Ryan movies are a cinematic universe.
yeah, you're right. It's supposed to be the same character, just different interpretations.
This one kind of counts because there was
Yeah.
there's the Conjuring
Yeah.
and the Nun and Annabelle creations, but they're kind of just spin-offs. But they're becoming their own thing so much that I think you could call that a shared horror.
I agree.
universe.
I think that one is a successful dark universe, you might say.
But apparently,
Um,
it hasn't succeeded yet. When these movies have made so much money.
I know they've made what like
I haven't
3
seen-
Conjurings and
I
like
haven't
4
seen any of them.
Annabelles.
I haven't seen any of them,
Oh,
but
you
I
should see them.
but
They're
I
good.
know that they are one of the most successful horror franchises of all time.
They're really really good. I saw Chris La Llorona
Oh, I didn't know that was the same universe. Yes,
Yeah,
that's definitely a shared universe. Sure.
Yeah, that Curse of La Llorona was a little bit lacking, but it was all right.
I think the
but
common
the
thread
Conjurings
is
were really, really good.
I think the Conjuring are kind of the core of it.
Yeah.
And that follows a couple, like the characters are based on real
I know.
people
Yeah.
who are paranormal experts.
And then there was a
so
spin-off with the
they're
Annabelle
the common thread in the movies.
Because that doll was creepy, so they made a bunch of Annabelles and then the nun. And
Yep.
That's a shared universe. Good job.
That's
the Amazing Spider-Man. First off, you could have chosen like any Spider-Man, but this one had the least movies.
And also, it wasn't a shared universe until
now.
The last Spider-Man.
But this was written in 2019.
Exactly. So at that time, it was not a shared universe.
It was just
it wasn't connected to any of the other Marvel anything.
Yeah. And then the MonsterVerse, which was, they called it. Sure, it did good. And X-Men is a shared universe too, apparently.
No, it's not, because it's its own franchise, and at the time was not connected to anything else Marvel. It's not. Wasn't in the MCU.
Spin-offs and prequels do not a shared universe make.
Yeah. What's their number one?
The DC.
Extended,
Well, they were wrong about that.
So that's pretty much the same article. The only good take on there is the
Conjuring.
The Conjuring universe. That I didn't think of that as a shared
I guess
universe.
There's a good case for the Lego movies as well.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. That's a little bit of a stretch because they are kind of sequels to each other.
Yeah.
And spin-offs, but
yeah, and they're not super connected either, because you've got the Star Wars Lego TV shows as well, and they're not actually connected. Yeah, I don't agree. So that's most of the Screen Rant articles that I have, but we've got some from CBR, which is the same company. Mm-hmm. Samuel L. Jackson reveals why he has to keep playing Nick Fury.
Because of a contract?
Money.
Yep.
So, did J.K. Rowling copy Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings for Harry Potter?
Yes.
Everyone copied The Lord of the Rings. Do you know why? Because The Lord of the Rings defined the hero's journey.
Yep. And modern fantasy as we see it today.
The hero's journey existed, but the Lord of the Rings painted it.
Oh,
you guys get that Amber Alert? Yeah.
Yep. I just got it too.
Yikes! But yeah, that being said, J.K. Rowling did copy a lot more from Tolkien, very expressively more than any other author, I think. Wormtail, Wormtongue.
Oh, okay, sure.
She copied a lot of the stuff, just cut and paste, and didn't bother to change around a lot of it.
It's still pretty original.
Yeah,
I guess there's the Gandalf, Dumbledore, but
exactly.
He doesn't have a staff.
Ooh,
so
he's got a wand. Just really
I feel like they're pretty different, and to judge,
I agree.
To take literally any book and say, did it copy the Lord of the Rings? The answer is just yes, guys.
Yeah,
yes. But that's what everything is. Like book, you can't write a new song without being inspired by past songs, which is like music copyright lawsuits. I bother me so much. I hate them. There are, I could count on one hand the instances where there's an actual case.
Especially when it's like some stupid chord progression. I'm like, shut up. The the song is completely different. It's just this one
would literally
chord progression.
It would literally be impossible to write a new song that wasn't based on something that you've already heard.
There's times that I write a little song or whatever, and then I realize, oh, this is the exact tune of this other song. I wasn't intentionally copying this. It just happened to be that way.
Yeah. So the answer is always yes. Did you copy Lord of the Rings? Yes. Is that a bad thing? No. Here's another one. D&D, 5 reasons the Flash is a monk and 5 classes that fit it better. This is the stupidest thing I've ever read, guys. So the Flash is a monk class in D&D because he's fast. And monks are fast in D&D.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
but he could also be a cleric because he heals quickly. But he can't heal other people, just himself. And clerics heal other people, not just themselves. But he's also a monk because he fights without a weapon because he's fast. So he doesn't need a weapon. But he could also be a wizard because he can manipulate time and space and speed because he's fast. But he's also a monk because he's fast.
Okay, that's a repeat.
But he could also be maybe he's not a monk. He could also be a rogue because no one can hear him coming because he's fast. But he's probably, out of all the classes, monk is probably the most appropriate because he's fast. And so he can hit more than once in the same turn, which is also what fighters can do because he's fast. But he's probably not a fighter. He's probably more akin to a monk because energy blasts. I didn't read this far into the article, if I'm being honest. But he's probably a bard because he sleeps around. So,
do you think? I swear, I could see. I don't know if these employees are just like contracted to write one thing, but if they're like sitting in an office, I could see them talking like, "Oh yeah, I played D&D this weekend," and like, "Oh yeah, what do you think about the Flash series? Hey, what class do you think the Flash is?" And then they, these nerdy discussions that we get on. And then their boss comes around and is like, "What are you guys talking about? Are you writing any new articles?" They're like, yeah, we just we're talking about what classes popular characters would be, so we can write that up."
But also I agree with you, Tanner. I think that is very definitely a possibility of how these are written. But also the way that this particular one is written, you could do that with any character. Literally plug something in. This character is like this D&D class because X, but it's also not like this character class because of X.
But it's worse. But it's worse because the reasoning for every single one is because he's fast.
Yeah. But you could do the same thing with Batman because he's Batman. That's stupid.
I'd like to know how much these people get paid per article, because I could do this. Crank out a ton in like 2 days, and then take a really long weekend. That would be great.
We could probably do a better job, right? Let's randomly generate one right now. Okay. Let's just in the chat give us any like comic book character, any character from fiction, anything. Give us a fictional character and any class, and we'll make the justification. And in the meantime, okay, get your juices flowing. Give us those suggestions, and if we don't get anything in the chat, we'll do this next week. But that's all the Screen Rants Bad Takes that I have this week. But here I found another article that's real good. Will Smith's apology to Chris Rock is only 160 words, and it's a masterclass in emotional intelligence. Do you know what wasn't a masterclass in emotional intelligence? Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. But we're celebrating Will Smith because of his apology. This article is horrible, and his apology is actually garbage. If you read it, it's just defending his decision, and I hate people. So
Great.
that's been Screen Rant's Bad Takes. You may notice there's another Screen Rant article on my tabs, but we're going to get to that later. So, you got,
can I share something?
yeah.
Hold on. So, I'm not even gonna.
Oh, I missed this chat. Did the Powerpuff Girls copy Lord of the Rings? Yes.
Hey, we could do Powerpuff Girls and
Oh, okay, let's do it. Yeah, let's do Powerpuff Girls. What
let's see,
class? Someone just joined.
Clear.
Oh, Tanner, you shared your screen. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just joined the.
Oh, that's the Joker Velociraptor. Oh, that's so good. Oh my goodness.
Where did you find this? What? Why didn't you break this out earlier?
Because we moved on before.
What is wrong with you?
Okay, so
This is my DeviantArt page. The Jurassic League.
this is currently like a spin-off.
This is a real comic.
DC series that they're making. Yeah.
That's
Wait,
awesome.
are you serious? This is real? I thought that was
DC is publishing this.
no
So
way.
here's the page it comes from, and you have like a Tyrannosaur Batman.
Oh my goodness.
This I might buy comics again. What is this?
And they're
Who
like,
else? Show me. So I've seen Batman and Joker. Who else? Who else?
we
Superman's
got
like Superman.
Superman. I think he's a Brontosaur. Wonder Woman is a
Wow.
Triceratops. And then you got the Joker.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Velociraptor.
This is hilarious.
That is so cool. I mean, it's
Oh.
stupid
Yes, but
in
that
the
is
best
like
way possible. Like it's self-aware, right? It knows it's a meme.
it has to. Like I haven't read it. I've just seen previews for the images, but like
But the artwork is actually awesome.
yeah.
Is this this is a new project? It's not published yet?
I think let me see.
Jurassic League. That's a good name
That,
too.
Yeah.
that would be so hilarious if whoever is publishing this and writing this saw that that interview
They saw
with Colin
Colin
Trevorrow.
Trevorrow's comment.
Yeah,
and thought,
and he's like,
hey, that's a good
okay."
idea. It's
just,
new,
just
yeah.
as a gag. May 10th. Huh.
Yeah. So it's coming up, and so these are just preview images. But I mean, like, you've got like
Wonder Woman. Oh man,
That's
Oh.
hilarious.
like
I'm gonna have to look that
this
up.
is so true of comics where like they turn the heroes into different animals for different
Yeah, yeah.
things. It's like, yeah. So it's like for comic books it's true. But if you're starting with dinosaurs, you can't make the Joker into a dinosaur. Don't make the dinosaur into a Joker. So.
Yeah. Wow.
I love comic books so much for stupid stuff like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there may be hope yet for the comic book industry. I've been very disappointed as of late, but that's pretty gold.
I can't remember. I think I was listening to a podcast where for a certain time in comics, they did research and found that covers with gorillas on it sold better than covers without gorillas. And so they just started putting gorillas randomly into the plot line so they could sell more comics. Like the
Wow.
comics industry is ridiculous. And I love it because of that.
That's
Nice.
hilarious. That would
Yeah.
be so much fun to work on too.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't imagine, like they have to know that it's a joke, but it would still
Yeah.
be fun.
Because, yeah, you just some writer was like, hey, kids like dinosaurs. can I do Justice League but dinosaurs? And then they're like, give us a proof of concept, and then they, draw up a Tyrannosaur with Batman's cowl on, and then it's like, oh, this actually looks
Okay.
pretty cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we have a suggestion. How are the Powerpuff Girls rogues?
One problem I realized I don't know
Anything
much
about
about the Powerpuff Girls.
It's the sugar, spice, everything nice, and chemical
Chemical
X, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't know any of their powers.
They are, although
three
they're
of 'em.
super powerful, they look like little girls, and that's like a rogue disguising themselves.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Oh, there you go.
Well, the rogue class is kind of a min-max class, right? They hit really hard, but they'll die really quick too.
Yeah.
And because Powerpuff Girls are girls, if they get hit, they're weak. So,
Nice.
What other powers do they have?
And because they're
sneak attack.
because they're teenagers,
Because
they're
there's
taken
three
for
of them.
granted. And
Because there's 3 of them, they can do sneak attacks. Because 2 of them can distract, and the one can sneak behind, and that's the rogue class. But
clever girl.
But we have to do it like they did it. It might not be a rogue class. It could be a different class. They could also be they could also be sorcerers because they have magic.
They got their powers through something
genetic.
in their past. Yeah.
Genetic. Yeah. But they're probably a rogue class, not a sorcerer class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
That's it. That I loved that article though. It was so stupid. And I think they've done it more than once. But
yes, that's a common thing. Like I've even seen articles on CBR where they're like, "Do you want to play Obi-Wan Kenobi in D&D? Here's how to make him."
Yep.
Okay.
I've seen that article.
That's slightly less offensive. Like, here's how to spec your class to play something. Yeah, still stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys want to talk about Raised by Wolves now?
Yes, let's do it. Boom. Nope.
I'm gonna need some help because I watched it last week.
Episode 7.
Yeah, so it picks up where episode 6 left off with Marcus axing Mother.
Yeah.
And leaving her for dead. Or well, not leaving her for dead, but that's where the episode leaves off.
Stopped him from killing her.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's where this one picks off. She's tied up in the hut. Talking about reprogramming her, possibly. They already reprogrammed Father.
Yeah. And
Campion is imprisoned in one of the other huts as well.
And they try and baptize him.
Yeah. That was cool. So yeah.
The entire time during this rewatch, I'm writing down all of like the scriptures because I'm still trying to figure stuff out. But because I'm trying to see if there's like foreshadowing in the scriptures, but I've written down everything. But I can't talk about some of the stuff that I'm theorizing about yet. But I think one of the first things that happens.
So it starts off with Campion running to Mother's rescue, and he pulls a gun on the Mithraics, which he's never handled before, never seen a gun and how it's used.
Yeah.
But suddenly he knows how to use it, or thinks he knows how to use it.
Well, they probably taught him the histories. He probably knows what it is.
Sure.
They talk about how the kids play war even though they were raised to be nonviolent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. I thought it was funny when they tied her up. They tied her up with all her limbs spread eagle. I'm like, good thing they didn't tie her up in T-pose. That could have been problematic. If she got a hold of them eyes, that's it. She's already in the pose.
Yep. And I like the conversation that Campion has with Marcus. where he's like, "You're lying. Is that what Earth was? Just a bunch of lies? Do any of you tell the truth about anything?" And Marcus is just like, not really, kid, and just leaves.
Yeah. Also, Marcus or Caleb, what's his current name?
Marcus.
So
Caleb is his real name. Marcus is what he goes by from now on, basically.
Okay. So Marcus, he's got some strange fetish for Mother. Like I thought in the last episode when they went to go capture her, he went up to her and he was like, "Do I grab this thing?" He was being really weird. But then in this episode, he was like, he's really coming on to her. It was really weird.
Marcus is a weird character.
He is very
Yeah.
weird.
I really liked him at
So-
the beginning, but now
Yeah, it's like I don't
he's
know
freaking me
what.
out.
He's just a loose cannon. I have no idea where his character is going.
Yeah,
It's-
Which is good.
It's
But
When I-
almost
when I
like
say-
he's changing.
yeah. When I say I don't like his character anymore, I don't mean like
You
from
don't
a
like how it's
writing
written. Yeah.
or a film. Like it's he's obviously unhinged and it's a well written and well acted character.
yes.
But I just am like, well, nope, you were a lot cooler when you were just trying to save your son, and now you think you're the Messiah, so you're crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. He when he goes into their house though, he sees the scalpel that she made from their amulets that he had in his sex vision with his wife. That was a thing that happened.
Yep.
And then everybody's praying, and Paul sees the city of Mithras in his dreams, and so they build a temple.
Which he'd seen before. He built that
He'd done it in
whole
the
diorama
in the
in the
Sims.
simulation. Yeah. So that's interesting.
And then Campion starts hearing voices as well,
Hmm.
and they say interesting things.
They do tell him that first that we miss you, and then
Do you miss us?
you miss us, and then you should kill yourself so we could be together. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
How
also
about
said
not that?
they also said kill your father.
I missed
Did they?
that. Did they say kill your father?
I may have written it down wrong, but yeah.
I think
Well,
it's
who are
mushrooms.
they? That's what I read. Is it the fungus maybe? Because they just started having these hallucinations more so when they started eating this fungus. But everybody has seen Tally at one point. Like it's like a shared hallucination. And mother and father have seen him too. They're not eating the fungus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know something
Yeah.
weird is going on this planet. It's really weird. And then the drawings drew themselves too. That's not hallucination. Like we saw that happen in real
Yeah.
time. Where it
But
just
the kids drew
blackened
some of the
itself
drawings.
yeah. Yeah, so something weird is happening there. It's very interesting that it seems like the planet itself wants to kill them all or something. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting, David. Interesting.
So if they did say Jacob Ironside confirms there, it said that was said in the subtitles, kill your father.
Yeah. Kill your father and
Who-
then we can be together.
So who is he referring to? Because his father is
I have no idea.
the android,
Yeah, kind of. Or
right?
Campion Sturgis? Or whoever his sperm
Maybe.
donor is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's odd. But yeah, I didn't catch that line. So that was interesting.
Yeah. It's possible it could have been mis-subtitled, which has happened. I've been watching Suits because I frequently watch like serial dramas just in the background while I do other stuff, and so I started watching Suits.
That's
And
by
the-
USA, right?
USA, yeah,
Network?
but it's on Amazon, and the
I've seen that one.
the subtitles for the theme song are wrong for the first 4 seasons, and then they fix them for season 5.
Yeah.
I'll say Amazon subtitles are not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. There's lots of different ways to do the subtitles. Sometimes they're auto-generated, and then a lot of times you have some people go through and QC them, but it doesn't get through. And then sometimes they just upload the script
Right.
as that. But then a lot of times there's instances where the script
Changed.
changes, so they deliver the line differently, and so the subtitles is like it's the same line but said differently.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen that lots of times too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm rewatching with subtitles on so I can write down the scriptures. I walk the path of the sun and gaze upon his glory and oh soul and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, so it may or may not have said kill your father. I'll have to go back and see that clip and see if it
But like in
sounds
the
like
context of the scene, it is sounding like they're trying to get him to kill himself.
Yeah. Well, obviously they are trying to get him to kill himself. They drop a noose from the.
Yeah. Well, it
ceiling.
turns into a noose. Yeah.
Right.
The rope that was already there.
Yeah, that was hanging the corpse of the reaver creature thing. Yeah. So then, one thing that confused me a little bit. So they reprogram Father.
Yes.
But you see him like tapping his finger, like doing a little Morse code something or whatever. But they never see show anyone in this episode that's receiving that message or interpreting whatever he's trying to do.
The kid sees it.
Yeah, but
Hunter.
He just sees that he's tapping his finger. He doesn't do anything about it. He didn't get the message. He doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's in the next episode.
Maybe it happens later, David.
Right.
I can. Yeah. I mean,
but that part.
It's very clear at the end of this episode that is original Father still in there because he grabs the rope.
Right.
With one finger. Which is freaking awesome. I love that moment.
Yeah. I just didn't get what he was trying to do with the finger Morse code or whatever it was because they didn't follow up with that in this particular episode. So
they do later, and I can say I still don't know. I watched episode 8 already, and I still don't know what it's supposed to like. They translate the Morse code. But I still don't know what Father is trying to say or what he means.
Okay.
And I can tell you,
at least they translate the Morse code.
I've watched it all, and I don't remember.
Nice.
That's why I'm rewatching.
Mm-hmm.
So Marcus tries to kill Mom, even though the voice keeps telling him not to. Let her live, and you'll be the king of this world.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are hearing voices. Do you guys think it's the same source or different?
I don't know. That's an interesting question because we know that the rapist guy heard a voice on the Mithraic Ark, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not on the planet.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that.
So it definitely can't be the same voice.
Yeah, because that they were seeing Tally on the planet before the Mithraic ship crashed, right?
Yeah. Yes. Or yes.
Or was it only after? I don't remember. I think it was all after the Mithraic ship crashed. That was in the very end of episode 1, and I don't think you see any hint that Tally is still alive.
You're right.
Or any
I think the visions of Tally happen after the crash.
Yeah, that's all after episode 1. So it could all be from this virus or whatever it is that Campion Sturgis
rapist
put into the. Oh yeah, that's another thing. The rapist just kind of disappeared.
He's not dead.
It didn't show him die, but then he wasn't in this episode at all. I was like, where is he?
He's not dead.
Yeah. They just didn't put him in this episode for some reason.
Oh, that's a good quote. You just whittled your finger. That's wonderful.
That's a good quote. Yes, yes.
I got it. I think the linchpin is if the androids aren't consuming hallucinogens but they are still seeing they're still seeing things, either those things are real or it is something that can manipulate an android's perception and make them malfunction, which could be
Like
the
a
virus,
virus.
like you said.
It could be that the virus has taken on some corporeal form through the
That is
Mithraic
true.
arc
We
technology
know
or
that
something. I don't know.
we
I don't
see
know.
other androids. uh I had a revelation. I don't know if I want to say it.
A guess?
I have a guess.
Yeah, I want to hear your theories.
They're still on the ark.
Everyone?
Yeah,
It's all a dream?
they're all
That
in the
would be-
simulation still.
That would be very unfulfilling, and I would hate
Yeah.
it if that were the case. But also, how did Mother and Father and Campion and all the other kids get in that
Interact.
simulation because they weren't originally part
Yeah,
of it?
maybe. I don't know. I
It's-
don't know.
That
It was a thought, like, how does the virus infect? Because Father hasn't gotten into the pods as far as we've seen. So how
he
is
saw her first.
yeah, how is he hallucinating if he hasn't?
There-
Well, a virus
It's not-
spreads.
as far as I know,
So-
it's not just a dream. So
Yeah,
Okay.
they're in
It's
the
not-
Matrix.
the Matrix.
Yeah, that would be very unsatisfying if that were
It-
the solution.
At least not yet. All the way through season 2. So
Yeah.
that would be dumb.
Interesting theory, Tanner, but you're dumb.
Yeah. Again, it was just I'm just trying to think why how could it manipulate the androids? That's the question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are
Yeah, I
Mother
don't
and
know.
Father doing the android horizontal USB insertion ejection?
The android boogie.
Yeah. And
The
that's
the
how the
electric
virus
slide.
happens.
It's just android AIDS.
Yeah, I mean,
It's space AIDS, guys.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. We'll have to see.
So they try and baptize Campion.
oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Now, I guess that happens before he tries to kill Mom. So,
Yeah.
it's a good scene, right?
That was heavy.
The just complete dismissiveness of the priest is, why would you mark the graves of an atheist? They are soulless and undeserving of soul's grace.
Yeah.
It
Like,
is
that's-
of no importance, you dumb child.
Yeah,
I just dug
that
up the
was
graves of your
ruthless.
brothers and sisters.
He could have said something like, "Well, that's all we had," or "Oh, I didn't realize they were gravestones," or something. But no, he's an atheist. He doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, ouch. But yeah, let me see.
Good on the
He's-
kid actor too, because
He's good.
Yeah,
sold
he is
that
really
scene.
good.
He's good.
There are moments he gets a little annoying, but for the most part, he's good.
Yeah, I think that's true of all children, though, whether they're acting or not.
Right. So it's appropriate if he's
Yeah.
annoying.
Mhm.
And then we already mentioned, well, you see a bunch of Caleb in the hut with all the drawings and
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, so I tried to pause and look at those drawings and see if it resembled anything that we've seen so far, but it's, I don't know, they're kids' drawings,
Mhm.
and you can't really tell a lot of what's going on. Like there was one with two kids or two individuals and like a pit. Okay, that's obviously the pit, but
Mhm.
everything else was just like, yeah, that could be a lot of things. You know.
There were a lot of snakes
Mhm.
in the drawings. and houses, and there was one with like a cactus looking thing,
Yeah.
like one of the Arizona cacti.
Sequoias.
I don't know what that is yet. So
Yeah.
and I don't even know if all of them are foreshadowing either.
Right.
But then you
Very
see
interesting.
the Campion's seeing visions too, because he sees the noose and Tally like crawling down the noose. And there's a really interesting line of dialogue that I'd completely forgotten about. The Campion asks her, "Why can I see you but not the others? Is it because you fell down a hole?"
Yeah.
And I think that's more important than it lets on.
Can you repeat that line?
Because he's talking to Tally, and he says, "How come I'm only seeing Tally in these visions instead of all of the
Not all
other
the
brothers
other-
and sisters that
yeah.
died?" And he's like, "Is it because you fell down one of those holes?"
And who else is hallucinating?
Marcus.
Marcus, Mother, Father, Campion. They all have gone down into the hole in some way.
Yeah, but also
Maybe not Marcus.
Also, the little girl. Well, Marcus slept on the edge of the hole, and then he fell down when those guys tried to attack him.
Also,
After the
Paul.
rope.
Oh,
And he is seeing visions of Mithras.
yeah.
Yeah, he was seeing visions of Mithras before he fell down the hole.
It's true.
But then also there was that other girl that was seeing Tally and was playing with her imaginary friend Tally and everything, and it hasn't shown her do anything with the hole. But anyways,
I think that's the wrong avenue. But the I think there's I'll say it later.
Yeah.
And then Marcus fights Shadow Marcus.
Yes.
Which is the actor who played Caleb, his original person.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. He's fighting with himself, so he's only. I thought it was interesting at the end of the fight. It was like he slashed his own stomach.
Did he though?
With his own knife.
I don't know. Did he?
That's what it seemed like, because he was fighting with himself in his vision, right? A past version of himself. So it just made sense to me that
he cut himself.
He cut himself. He slit his own stomach.
It could be. It also might not be, and I don't remember.
Yeah.
It felt like a manipulative tactic, because he told the other Mytherians that he was going to destroy. He was going to go ditch her, but he's got that voice in his head saying, "No, don't kill her,"
which he's trying to ignore. And so this could be, him trying. No, stop! Don't kill mom.
Yeah,
don't kill mommy.
Fighting with that inner voice, which is himself.
And so self-inflicting the wound.
It's probably self-inflicted.
Yeah.
But there's another interesting moment when he's laying down and he's holding the scalpel that's bloodied, right? Which is kind of more evidence that he cut himself. But when he drops it, it turns into his knife. He was never holding the scalpel. He just thought it was the scalpel. Yes, he shows the side view, and his hand, falls, and he drops it, and then as it falls, it turns into his tactical combat knife.
I missed that. That's interesting.
It's a blink and you miss it moment. I didn't see it the first time through either.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
But the other interesting thing, which I had also completely forgotten about, is that after that, Paul finds his mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which 100% fell down the hole.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe it's a ghost mouse now.
And
Um,
I do think that Campion is right that the reason he's seeing only Tally is because she fell down the hole, and I can't tell you why, but like there's obviously some parallel there with the mouse and Tally.
yeah, that's interesting. So then at the very end, well, early in this episode, we talked about they mentioned the boy that was foretold to unlock the mysteries of Mithra.
Yes, an orphan boy in an empty land
Yes.
will unlock the mysteries of Mithras.
Right. And so we were thinking before that,
Paul.
maybe it was Campion, maybe it was Paul. But then at the end of this episode, obviously, Caleb Marcus says that he is the
boy.
Is the boy from the prophecy
because he is also an orphan.
Yeah. So
and he's seeing visions.
He is, yeah. But yeah, that was very interesting how he thinks that he's the the one behind the prophecy,
and he's an atheist.
Yeah. So, anyways, he's obviously conflicting with his atheist views after seeing these visions and everything. So he's kind of.
But he's been pretending so long.
Yeah.
So.
But anyways, I thought that was interesting that he immediately jumps to, oh, I'm the one in this prophecy. But anyways, we shall see.
There maybe there's more to the prophecy that we haven't heard yet. I can't remember the specific words, which is why I'm writing everything down.
Yeah,
because I want to figure this show out before it ends.
Yeah. Oh, also another thing.
I'm having the hardest time. I'm normally really, really good at predicting how things will end.
Yeah.
And I am clueless.
Another thing I wanted to mention, my mother-in-law was in town this weekend, and we started watching Raised by Wolves with her because we mentioned that we were watching it. It was like, oh, I saw the first episode of that or whatever. So we started watching it again from the beginning. And I noticed a line in the second episode where Father is talking to the other children, and he's like, which one of you is the smartest or whatever? And to
the new children,
to the new things. And he said, oh, I think it's probably me. And he turns to Paul and he says, are you sure you're not the smartest or whatever? And it's just like he instinctively knew that Paul was like this genius, which comes back later when he solves that riddle or that problem or whatever, that Campion, moving the sticks or whatever. But I just thought that was an interesting line of dialogue that I completely glossed over the last time.
Yeah, so did I.
Father was like, are you sure you're not the smartest? I was like, wait, what? What did he say? That was just really cool. I just think, this show is really well thought out in terms of the dialogue, and I don't know. It's just cool. All the stuff that they pepper in there just shows that, the writer is, this is like a love letter.
I get the creeps every time I watch the show. Like, there's always some eerie feeling of like, I'm going to be tricked. Like I don't trust anything I see, and I know that I'm going to fall for something, and I'm not, and I hate it because I'm really good at knowing where things are going, and I know that I'm going to get the wool pulled over my eyes. But it just it's the atmosphere too. It's just eerie, and it apart from my personal vendetta against the show, like it always has an unsettling edge to it, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the show.
It's good. It's good.
You guys don't have any other theories of where it might be going?
I'm afraid to say them because I don't.
Because you watched more.
I'm afraid to be right and ruin it for myself. Like, I kind of just want to experience it.
But you do have some more theories? I can't. I'm not going to tell you if you are right.
I The Fremen character,
that we saw one time.
at first I thought that was like Tally, and she had
That's
some
what I
kind of
thought too.
Like
some
grown
kind
up.
of accelerated growth. I think though the creatures that we're
I
seeing,
can't ruin this for you because I remember bits but I don't remember 100% where that goes. But it's resolved in season 1.
yeah, the creatures they're not monsters. They are some form of intelligent life.
Or or at least
the pit fiends.
Yeah.
Okay.
I call them the Reavers. But yeah, I think you're right. Or they were formerly intelligent life that was like corrupted and mutilated and transformed into these monsters.
Why do you think that?
It's just the vibe that I get, and then it's seemed to set up sympathy for the creatures when that one was pregnant that they killed.
Oh yeah.
So it's just kind of like maybe there's more to these creatures than at first glance. Maybe they're either intelligent or they were former humans. They used to be humans or some sort of humanoid creature, and they were just twisted and disfigured, and maybe the holes emit radiation or something, and they live underground and they get disfigured from the radiation or something. I don't know. That's just the kind of the vibes I was getting. Like I said, when I first saw them, they reminded me of the Reavers from Firefly.
Serenity.
So yeah,
they
ate too much fungus.
You will find out.
The line,
not yet.
The line by Father when they have the one captive and they're going to slaughter it, and he says, "It's a good thing you're not intelligent."
It is a good thing you are not intelligent.
Like
yes,
dying can be
like
quite uncomfortable when you are intelligent.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't think of that line as foreshadowing. I thought of, but
yes.
Okay.
And then also some stuff from episode 8 that I can't mention, but
it's so hard, right?
Yeah, I feel bad I didn't watch another one.
I'm probably going to go watch episode 9 right after this because
there's 10 in the first season, right?
10.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
It's so good. It's so atmospheric, and I love everything about this show. So,
yep. Well, maybe I'll go watch the rest of the series, and if it's just us three again next week, we can just finish season 1.
Maybe Jared might hate us.
Maybe if he ever shows up again.
He's been on this show probably more than you have, David.
No, I have not missed a single.
You haven't
one.
missed a single week. Okay,
I wasn't on the very first Wheel of Time because you hadn't invited me yet.
Okay.
So thank you very much. I am the VP.
All right.
Of this show.
Jared's pretty faithful.
You're right.
To my show. we need to get more regulars, I think, but I can't convince any of my other friends to watch TV. So
I like TV.
Yeah. I like TV a little too much.
Well, I love doing this, and we've got one final surprise, which maybe we should save until there's more people here. But it's just too good. We got to do it because there's a bonus Screen Rant article that we got to do it. Okay, here we go. Which Raised by Wolves character are you based on your zodiac sign? So we're not going to scroll through it yet because I need to know your zodiac signs so we can figure out what character.
All right, I'm a Gemini, baby.
I don't know what's based on.
Is it the Chinese zodiac or the other constellation zodiac?
It's
whatever.
Aries.
Okay, so yeah, that's the regular constellations. I'm Gemini.
So what?
I'm not sure. I gotta double.
Okay,
check.
when's your birthday? What month?
September 12th.
September 12th.
I'm a Virgo.
Yes, you are a Virgo. David, what are you?
Gemini.
So you come first. Okay. So, David, you are Marcus and Caleb.
All right.
Ooh, there are so many traits associated with the Gemini. One of the most notable is their ability to show two different sides to the world. So, you're Marcus and Caleb.
All right.
So you're
I don't know whether that's a compliment or not.
well.
He's a great performance, but he's pretty messed up.
Yeah, it just gets worse and worse. His character is just becomes more and more unhinged. It's great.
Right.
Yummy fungus. Reading comments. Okay, Tanner, what were you?
Virgo.
Jacob says he's gonna finish season 1 this week.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's hard. It's hard to not binge it. That I originally binged it over I was sick on Christmas break, and it was a fever dream too. So and that added to the experience a lot because this show is already a trip. But I had a fever too, and I just watched it. I was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life." Virgo, you're a Virgo.
If Jacob's committing to finish season 1, I think we all better finish season 1 next week.
Ooh.
Tanner's
Oh,
mother.
I'm gonna T-pose on all y'all.
Tanner's mother, because you're compelling and frightening in equal measure.
That's Tanner. If I've ever heard a description of
Am
Tanner.
I frightening?
No.
Yeah, you're
I
giving
can
me
scare
chills.
teenagers when I want to.
You're compelling, and I'm a Pisces, I believe. So that's all the way at the bottom, and I get Paul.
Well, yeah.
But I've got hidden depths,
Mm-hmm.
and but I don't let people know that I have hidden depths. So
I'm surprised that they had a Raised by Wolves article.
Right?
Because not a whole lot comes up on Raised by Wolves.
Jacob Ironside, you're Tempest. So you get raped. Sorry.
Ouch. Well, willing to enact vengeance on those that have wronged them.
But like what is this?
Yeah, that's so stupid.
I hate this so much. Like I don't it makes me think of like Potterheads, which like great, like find something you love, but it's so weird. Like people who take like the Pottermore quiz, like which character are you? Why
take this helpful quiz?
Well, fiction is you can imagine yourself as whatever character you want. So what's the point of a quiz that tells you who you are based on your personality?
And also, if you've taken any of those quizzes, it's like, would you rather do something explicit that this character does, or do something explicit that this character does?
What is more close to your personality? Do you have a scar that was given to you by a Dark Lord, or do you like to read lots of nerdy books?
Exactly.
Or are you scared of spiders?
Yeah.
Which one are you, David? Which one are you?
Stupid. Definitely the scared of spiders one.
Oh, well, I can tell you, based on your personality, that you are Ron Weasley.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Oh,
I didn't know.
There's just a question that's, are you a twin?
Are you a twin?
And then the follow-up,
do you have both ears?
Do you have?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I've been rereading the Harry Potter books the last couple of months, and they're fun.
Books. They're good.
Fun.
But sometimes the fan, like, I hate when on like, I'm sorry, I've been on the dating scene a long time, and when people are like, oh, I'm a Hufflepuff, like when you're trying to get to know them, and you're like, no,
red flag,
no,
especially Hufflepuff.
It's
who's a Hufflepuff?
Also,
Come on.
We're super nerdy.
Yeah.
Right. We play D&D, right? But I've never understood like the the LARPing stuff. I could understand cosplay. That's cool because it's like a convention you go show off. But like I took because I recently took Elliot. We went on our first like really big family vacation that we've ever done. We took Elliot, my son, to Harry Potter World, and Harry Potter's fine, and my enjoyment came from watching his excitement. Like buying him a wand and doing the silly magic stuff. But it was shocking to me how many like full-grown adults were there without any kids. That's fine, in full regalia. Wow. Like, and I'm just like, I'm really glad that you're happy, but I do not understand that at all.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I feel the same about Disneyland. Like, Disneyland is a ton of fun, and it's so atmospheric and like well done, and the rides are fun. But like, there are some people who are like obsessed and
go every year. Yeah. I know a lot of people like that. That's fine.
And Disneyland,
which like if you have kids, yeah.
But
as an adult, maybe like once every 5 years is probably more appropriate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Martina, I made a costume from clothing I found at Goodwill so I could dress up as the Winter Soldier when Captain America Civil War happened. I think for movie premieres,
that's cosplay though. That's a little different.
Exactly. That's the same as dressing up for a convention or something.
I dressed up as Harry Potter when in high school.
You dressed up as Edward.
Yeah, that was for a girl though. That's different. That's different. And I was doing it too. I was doing it ironically. It was tongue in cheek. I can tell that story. Okay. But yeah, I dressed up as Harry Potter to go to one of the Harry Potter movie premieres, but I was, 15. So
yeah.
I know people that like love Harry Potter, and I'm weirded out by it. I'm like,
yeah. Also, Harry Potter is fun, but
it's fun.
It's got issues.
Yeah,
the story kind of falls apart at the end, and I don't know.
I don't understand.
For me personally,
it's very confusing to me as well how there are so many people who just completely define their lives on Harry Potter. Great books, sure, but like, I don't know. I could think of better ones, maybe.
The Harry Potter fandom is dedicated, and they're intense about it, and that's what I don't get. Like,
it's not my thing. I don't understand it.
Like, I have Spider-Man posters up in my classroom, and I can tell you how much I love it, but like, I'm not like.
Wait, Tanner, you haven't taken a which Spider-Man villain quiz, are you?
No, I have not. Haven't done
that.
Okay. And I also am not.
Answer these questions. Answer these questions really quickly, Tanner, if you could. But based on your personality, are you more likely to have 4 extra arms growing out of your back, or to have a split personality and throw pumpkin bombs, or have wings?
Or are you a teacher?
A teacher.
I am a teacher.
Oh, then you're Kurt Connors, the lizard.
I'm the lizard.
Oh,
I'm gonna go chop my arm off right now.
Based on your personality, you're Kurt Connors.
I get fandoms, but I'm not to the level of Harry Potter fans. No offense. And also, Martina brings up a good point. The Fantastic Beasts movies,
like, are you still on board with Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious if the Potterheads are Potter-tastic about.
Why is it even called Fantastic Beasts anymore? It's just the first part of the first movie was Fantastic Beasts, and then they're just like, okay, it's Dumbledore and
Dumbledore and Grindelwald are still playing Find the Dragon, so
yeah, it's just a mess.
Wow, 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 wow.
Gay sex pact between wizards.
We have Alan and I have a friend who
Who has
rewrote.
gay sex? So
No, 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 no,
what
no.
are you going? What are you going for?
He rewrote. He wrote his own
Oh,
sequel
yeah,
to
yeah.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and he called it Quidditch Through the Ages, and it focuses on a new group, still in the
Ah,
whole Grindelwald plot, but focusing on a
Yeah.
new group of characters.
I've heard of that.
Well, a different textbook as well.
Yeah,
for each
yeah.
sequel. Yeah,
Yeah.
And it was.
I have not read it.
I read it and I enjoyed it more than the Crimes of Grindelwald. Like, he's a good writer, and
He's good.
and if he sees this, I don't want him to think I mean, like, the script needed some improvements, but it was good, and I liked the idea of exploring the wizarding world through different lenses rather than being like, "Oh, Newt Scamander is such a cute little shy boy. Let's follow him around, even though the monsters aren't
He's
really involved."
not the main character. It hasn't
Yeah.
been for a long time.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, that would have been an interesting idea to have different. You know,
different
you could have
textbook.
subplots that follow through, but
Yeah.
have a different
have
textbook.
a different textbook.
That would have been a lot
It's a
more
good idea.
interesting.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We had the
He's a good writer.
Yeah.
And I personally don't understand why you would put that much passion into like a fan fiction though. Like I would prefer him writing original
own
material
stuff.
because he also wrote a Pokemon musical, which I helped write the music to, and it was a good story, great. Like, but that's just, my personal taste is like I could never understand why someone would be driven to write fan fiction when you can just write original stuff. But teach his own.
Yep.
Do what makes you happy, unless it's gay sex pacts with evil wizards. So that's the moral of the story.
I think they made the pact before
They had sex
Before he was an evil wizard.
before he realized he was evil.
Oh yeah, probably. But then why
he
would
was
they
just-
need? But then why would they need to make a pact if they didn't know he was evil?
Hey, sometimes it's hard to see the signs of abuse in a relationship when you're in.
That's my issue with the whole thing. Like, it doesn't make sense unless they knew that they would be enemies in the future.
Crimes of Grindelwald is so dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's such a bad, like, I watched it with this same friend that did the rewrite, and he had already seen it,
Yeah.
but he had to pause it a couple of times because he could see how, like, confused and angry I was at the things that were happening on screen. And oh man, like, I did not like that movie.
Yeah.
That
I've
movie
heard
is
people.
yeah.
I've heard some people say, "Oh, you just have to watch it multiple times. It's like Inception." It's no. Inception was beautiful and well crafted
And makes
and
sense
amazing,
the more you watch
and
it.
it makes sense the more you watch it. This is just a hot, confusing mess
But
that
also
didn't know where it was going from the start.
Inception made sense the first time I watched it too.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
And
just
then
didn't catch everything.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Grindelwald didn't make any sense, and it's worse on a rewatch. It's surprising how much the Crimes of Grindelwald has come up on this show and on an after show, and we've talked about like rewatching it and just completely deconstructing it a couple times, and we've never done it.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to watch that again. It's bad.
Yeah.
And I'll watch the third one when it comes out on Redbox, but I'm not paying for it in the theater.
Oh,
and
heck
it's
no.
probably going to suck too.
It comes out soon.
I think so. Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
not a great sign that you're just barely getting trailers for it.
It comes out in 5 days.
Really?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I expect to see some amazing Screen Rant articles on the topic. in the forthwith future.
I don't doubt that we will get
maybe
that, but
maybe next week we'll see how it completely redefines the Harry Potter verse.
Speaking of next week, we'll be talking about Moon Knight episode 3 and Raised by Wolves episode 8.
9, 10.
Probably just 8 because I think we're gonna move the show to Saturday because Easter's a thing, and
Oh yes, Easter
my wife
is
wants to
next
have
week.
a barbecue. So,
My
that work?
parents are actually coming up to visit me, and we're doing something on Easter. So that actually
Good
Saturday?
call.
Saturday.
Good call.
yeah. Unless my parents are like, we got to do something. Like, I will be here to talk.
Friday could also work, but Saturday's probably better because I'm also streaming on Thursday. So
Oh, you know what? On Saturday, they're going to meet my brother's fiance's parents. So Saturday,
let's
I
do
could-
Saturday.
Sweet. That was the original time for the show anyway.
Yeah. Sundays turned out to be a lot easier though because I frequently have shows on Saturdays and Fridays because I do improv, because I do comedy. But yeah, it's been a good show. I think we'll call it there. Thanks for joining us. It's been a blast. I love this show, and thanks for theorizing about it. You will. Yes, I'm excited for the payoffs that you guys are looking for. Some of them will come sooner than others. But keep watching, baby. Everyone needs to watch the show so I can finish watching it. Don't cancel Raised by Wolves.
Yes.
That's
indeed.
the moral of the story. Maybe we should make a sex pact with Raised by Wolves, so it
Let's not.
doesn't get canceled.
How do you have sex with a television show?
No,
Yeah,
it's a magic sex pact.
I'm
So
out.
it
I'm out.
transcends. Bye, everybody.